It was 1986. Sonic Youth had just come off their second full-length album, Bad Moon Rising, for Homestead Records. The band was incorporating more rock sensibilities into their music and was not afraid to branch away from the noise rock of previous releases. The new album would also be known for two other changes for the band, one being the newest recruit, Steve Shelley, who has been with the band ever since, and the other, the relationship with SST Records. In '86, Kim had this to say about SST. They just called us up. I guess it was last November or something, and asked us if we were interested. We'd always been interested in being on SST, and we've known Henry, and we didn't know Mike Watt that well at the time, but those were all people who were pushing for us. And Lee Ronaldo said, it was the first record company we were on that we really would have given anything to be on. At the time, SST was really pushing to be known besides their hardcore roots, and signing someone like Sonic Youth was beneficial to both parties. The album was recorded and mixed by Martin Bizzi, who had recorded other albums by artists such as Swans, Helmet, and White Zombie. The songs were becoming much more focused from previous albums, and it seems the band was coming into its own. The songs were drawing from a number of sources. Shadow of a Doubt happened to be based on the 1951 Alfred Hitchcock movie Strangers on a Train, about two men who meet up and decide to switch off their murderous impulses, thus giving no identifiable motive for their crimes. Coincidentally enough, too, Hitchcock had another film called Shadow of a Doubt. Marilyn Moore was the second time the band had collaborated with Lydia Lunch since the Death Valley 69 track. In The Kingdom No. 19 was the story of a man on the road who ultimately wrecks his car, and oddly enough it was Mike Watt on bass who had just suffered the loss of D. Boone at the expense of an automobile accident. Watt also credits his time with Sonic Youth as getting him back into music and having gotten into playing again with Firehose. Watt said, "The first thing I did was Thurston asked me to play bass on EVOL. That was a big highlight. Man, like, what, you want me to play without D. Boone?" Watt's relationship with Sonic Youth would follow for years. He appeared on the track Providence on Daydream Nation and was also a major figure in the band's Saucony Youth album. Speaking of Saucony Youth, the album also marked the start of the band's mini-obsession with Madonna, with the original titles of Expressway to Your Skull being The Crucifixation of Sean Penn and Madonna, Sean, and Me. Expressway on the vinyl edition is listed with the time of infinity, and is what's referred to as a locked groove, meaning basically the last couple seconds just repeat without end. Scratched into the inner grooves were Destroy All Record Labels and Everything Turns Black to Blue. The insert features the lyrics and some random pictures of the band and some taken from a variety of sources. Two of which being the Magic miniseries by Marvel Comics and Friday the 13th Part 2. The front cover is a still shot from friend of the band Richard Kern's film Submit to Me. Kern had first worked with the band shooting a video for Death Valley 69 and went on to do King Missile's Detachable Penis and Marilyn Manson's Lunchbox videos. Upon its release, Robert Palmer of the New York Times said the band was making the most startlingly original guitar-based music since Jimi Hendrix. And People magazine said it was the oral equivalent of a toxic waste dump. Neil Young even spoke up, said, "You know that one, Expressway to Your Skull? It's incredibly good, so beautiful, it's a classic. Superb melody and even better live." One single was released. Star Power featured the cover of Bubblegum by Kim Fowley, who is best known for being the manager of the Runaways and also appeared on Frank Zappa's epic debut Freak Out. Steve Shelley and Mike Watt basically just played over top of Fowley's song, then removed him from the recording, and the others added their parts. From here on out, Sonic Youth could do no wrong, following up with Sister, Daydream Nation, and Goo, which many consider the holy trinity of their catalog. All three of these albums are classics and should be taken as nothing less than such, but to me, I keep going back to EVOL. It, to me, is the point when everything started clicking, and the band was starting to become who we all fell in love with so many years ago. If you're a big fan of any of the band's late 80s releases, but haven't heard this album in some time, pop it back in, and you'll find yourself pleasantly surprised.
Okay, fun time is over.